Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how I wrap my bouquets. I really like the kind of more rustic market style bouquet way of wrapping, so that is what I'm going to be demonstrating today. I do have a few more up my sleeve as well, but we'll just start with my kind of go-to for today. Okay, so let's take a look at the supplies. So I really like just using some twine. I've got my scissors. These are fabric scissors. But any scissors that are going to cut your paper is fine. I know I probably shouldn't be using fabric scissors for paper, but I'd be lying to you if I told you I had two different pairs of scissors, so they are the ones I'm going to use. I've got an elastic band. I've got some fabric which I just pick up from the op shops, thrift stores if you are coming from America, and then I just shred strips of it as well. Yeah, just trying to be a little bit more sustainable. So it's just fabric that is secondhand that then I strip into nice little ties. I've got my secateurs to cut my flowers, tissue paper, and then my roll of craft paper. I will link my supplies for the craft paper in the description if you're in New Zealand and wanting to buy the same craft paper. And then obviously the flowers. Okay, so I'm just going to move everything that I don't need right now out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to start with my craft paper. Like I said before, I will link where I get this from. From the top of my head, it's about 70 New Zealand dollars for a roll, and that roll lasts me a long time. So what I'm going to do first is cut a piece, and I'll pop how many centimeters this is up on screen as well, just so you can measure it if you want to while you're starting out. So now I have this kind of square sheet in front of me. If I just show you from my point of view, so you've got your sheet here, and then I'm taking this bottom corner and it's going up into the middle of the top, and then I'm just going to crease it. Apologies, I'm doing this with one hand. I'm saving up for better filming equipment, but right now it's me and my phone. So this is what you are left with, and that's your kind of nice straight edge there. Okay, next you're going to do the same, but with your two sheets of tissue paper. So I'm going to just fold this bottom right corner up to the center of the top of that one, and you're left with a similar shape with a couple of points. I'm just going to put that one to the side, and then I'm going to do the same with this one. So this corner is just going up to the middle of this top here, like so. So then I've got another one like that. Okay, so once I've got my three pieces, I'm just going to put them up there whilst I make my bouquet. So now I'm just going to take my piece of jute twine, and I'm just going to wrap it round once. I'm over here actually. See, I've got my stems, so I'm just going to wrap it round once and twice, and then just tie that off there as well. Okay. So then we've got the bouquet there, and because it's kind of in a nice spiral shape, it's going to hold itself up pretty well there. Now, once we are at that stage, I'm going to get my first piece of tissue paper, and where the bind point is, where I've just tied it off, I'm just going to lay it on the edge of the table, and I'm just going to, a little bit higher, wrap it round. So it might not go all the way around, and you can kind of scrunch it underneath the back a little bit as well. And it's not going to go all the way around without me kind of pulling it really tight, which I don't want to do. I don't want to squash the flowers. It's here to protect the flowers as well as look nice. So it doesn't close all the way. I'm just going to leave it there. And then I'm going to come on top with this piece. And you want that flat edge at the bottom again. And I'm just going to wrap it round. So I'm going to tuck it under and wrap round that bind point again. And then I'm going to scrunch it where my tie off was. And sometimes it helps if you just hold it upside down, just to then kind of look at it from above and make sure that your tissue paper is nice and flush. So this is what it looks like at this stage. Then I'm going to take my piece of paper, and again I'm just placing that nice flat edge on the bind point, and I am going to loop it round. Okay, now once I'm at this point, I'm just going to pop my staple in there. But first, I'm going to scrunch the bottom. If you scrunch the bottom first, it stops it kind of, if I'd already put my staple in, then when I scrunch the bottom, it might warp all this at the top, so it's not kind of sitting nice and smooth. So I like to scrunch first, which then you can see kind of opens up the paper as well to how it naturally wants to sit, holding it at the bind point of the bouquet. And then I am just going to pop a staple in to join it. Of course, the kids have run off with my stapler, so I have no idea where it's gone. So I'm just going to pop a bit of tape there for now, but a staple really is best. And I try not to use kind of any plastic tape, but it will do. And then I'm just going to take another bit of jute, and I'm just going to tie on the outside of that scrunch. Again, I'm just going to go around once. I'm going to go around twice and then tie it off in a double knot. Okay, so this is what we are left with now. And you can play around with the tissue paper as well. And I don't cut my stems until I've just double checked that they're all sitting right. If you leave your ribbon just a fraction loose, you still have the ability to pull up stems. This is what we are left with here with the wrapping. Then this is where you can take any sort of ribbon that you like and just tie a nice bow in there just to make it pretty. I am just going to trim these stems just a little bit, just to make sure that those white tulip stems there aren't sitting too far out of the water. I can pop that into some fresh water now. Now, the way I sell most of my flowers is through a collection box, so I don't need to do a wet wrap because most of the time people are picking up from me and then just taking them home. But if you do want me to demonstrate how I do a wet wrap, let me know as well. A wet wrap is just basically where the flowers are going to have their own water source in a little bag. So if people do have to travel a little further, the flowers have some water to go with them. Now you can kind of customize this how you'd like as well. I have a little business card that I staple onto the outside, and I also have a stamp, which is just a rubber stamp and ink that I pop my logo on the front of the paper there as well. But yeah, you can really kind of customize however you like. I've seen people pop their business cards on with little pegs, or you can get like metal sticks that you can stick in and your business card will stick up a little bit. So yeah, you can have a play around with your style. Now, if you have a really large bouquet and the craft paper doesn't want to meet all the way around with one sheet, you can do exactly the same as we did with the tissue paper and just take 2 sheets and pop the second sheet to meet the gap and then staple over the opposite side. And sometimes that can give a really nice effect as well. It just gives you a little bit more kind of points around, which can always look good as well. So just whichever style you fancy. For smaller ones like this one, I found 1 sheet's fine. But if you do like that look that's a little bit more extravagant, go for the 2 sheets. These smell so beautiful because of those dianthus. They're one of my favorite flowers. And this bouquet, it's not necessarily my favorite style just because of what I had in the garden. We're still kind of in the middle of winter here, it feels like, even though we're a few days into spring. The flowers aren't speaking spring to me yet. So not kind of the prettiest of bouquets, but I just wanted to demonstrate what I do before the flowers really start coming in. Now, I do want to mention that I definitely still get frustrated sometimes when I'm wrapping my bouquets, and I definitely did at the start. So if you are getting frustrated, just keep practicing. Yeah, practice really is the best way when it comes to anything with flowers, I found, and patience as well. I just used to cut a whole load of foliage from the garden when I didn't have any flowers, just kind of shrubs that I had, and I'd make little bouquets and just practice my wrapping. And I'd play with different styles and different paper tightnesses. You'll be surprised just by, if I can unhook this here, you'll be surprised at what a difference that and pulling it a bit tighter makes to the look of the bouquet. So just have a play around with things like that. I'll just try and hook that tape back on there. And you'll find what you like. Just tried to bring this outside into some better light, but it's extremely windy. If you liked today's video, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. I share all things about growing cut flowers, floristry, and gardening as well. So if that sounds like you, I will see you again next time. Thank you.